WhyGuru, 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 WhyGuru.
कहाँ बुद्ध प्रभ तुच्छ हमारी, बर न सके महिमा जो तिहारी। हम ना सकत कर सिफत तुम्हारी, आप ले हो तुम कथा सुधारी। हम ना सकत कर सिफत तुम्हारी, आप ले हो तुम कथा सुधारी। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। ਵੀਰ ਜੀ showed us how ਇੱਕ ਸਿੱਖ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਭਰਮ ਨਾਲ ਦੇਖਣਾ, right? Seeing everything as an illusion. But getting to a point where your mind actually registers it as an illusion, understanding then, okay, if everything's an illusion, then why do I wear my kakars? Why do I do kirtan? Why do I have a guru? All of these things become really confusing because now you're working backwards. What we must understand is that Guru Granth Sahib Parchar is written from a Sachkhand perspective. That's why they start off with Ik Oankar, right? So Ik Oankar. When you say Oankar, a good way to remember how to pronounce it is O as in O Rab. Ang matlab, our angs. Kar means one that's made them. That one, O, one, ehe ang banai. Ik Oankar. That's how you properly pronounce it. And that's a very brief arth. So, in order to understand how we play this game, we have to understand first what it means to be stuck in an illusion, okay? Ik Oankar is defined by Mool Mantar. So the whole of Mool Mantar defines what Ik Oankar is. Japji Sahib is how, Mool Mantar is how Gurbani starts. Japji Sahib is the first Barni. Japji Sahib explains what the Mool Mantar means. And all of Guru Granth Sahib Ji explains what Japji Sahib means. Shri Dasam Granth explains what all of Guru Granth Sahib Ji means. And Shri Sarblo Granth explains what both of them were speaking about. Because the complexities start from a Sachkhand perspective. If we just go, everything is God, and end it there, then we don't need anything. We don't need to wear these kakars. We don't need a dadi dastar. If it's an illusion, why even keep it, right? It's because of the age-old question. And I'm going to ask you, is there free will? Yes? Why? Actually, say it in the mic. Why do we have free will?
We have free will because you can do what you want.
You just told me we have free will because we got free will.
True.
Tell me more.
Because we have free will because there's nothing stopping us from not having it. Like, we all chose to come to this camp, right?
That makes sense. If you want to throw your hand up right now, you could. That's free will.
Yep.
Right? Okay, did anyone else have another answer?
From his perspective, it'd more be like he knows exactly what's going to happen and you're willingly doing it without even realizing.
Okay, so you're telling me sab kuch likha hua hai. Everything is written, so he already knows.
He knows. What's going to happen. You don't, so you think you have free will, which technically in our perspective we do, but we're kind of unknowingly doing everything. He knows what we're going to do. Like, you understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
I hear you. Anyone else want to take a shot at it?
I think we're using like a human perspective where we're trying to say free will and fun are two separate things, but this is not something that we can really even grasp as a concept, that we can have both at the same time. Like, we can have free will. Like, right now there's so many shabads about us working hard to reach WhyGuru and reach a higher level, and all these things. Of course these are because we should be trying to reach that level ourselves, but then also at the same time, like he was saying, at the same time as we're doing these things, we can't take credit for it either, because this was all born at the end of the day. And I don't think they're two things that have to be decided between.
Benji here?
When I think of free will, I think that even though everything's already written, it's our karam that can end up changing whatever is written. Is the karam that we do. If we do good karam, then in the future, whatever is written is going to be positive. But if we do bad karam, then whatever's in the future would not be good. Because even though everything's written, it can be changed. It's in Guru's hands to be changed.
Okay, so you're saying things are written and you lose and get free will based on the karma you commit.
In a way, yes.
Okay. Okay, that's a really nice answer too. Yeah. Sing.
I was gonna say like the theme for our like CSV this past fall was Hukam. So like we talked a lot about like, from my understanding, what I learned was that Hukam like just happens, like whatever happen like is pre-written, and it could be good Hukam, it could be bad Hukam, but we put in the effort, to like be on the path of that Hukam. So like otherwise we would just like sit and do nothing, right? And like just let our lives like play out. But like if we put in effort and like try to be on what WhyGuru has for us, then that's WhyGuru's Hukam. Yeah.
So you're saying Hukm mein andar sabko, bahar hukm na koi. Right? But at the same time, Maharaj says, Uddam karo urtaneet. So what is the Uddam and what is the Hukam? Maharaj, it seems like they are contradicting themselves, right? But I'm gonna try to show you. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna try to draw you an example of how one should perceive free will, or one can perceive. You can perceive everything however you want. But how you can perceive this question of do we have free will and do we not? The real answer is you're all right. And that's where things get confusing. Nobody here said anything wrong. And the reason is, so this circle, I know all of you can't see it, but this circle right here is me, my free will. I'm writing upside down, I'm sorry. It's me, my own free will. Within this circle, anything that is in here, that's your Raj. You are the maker of your own destiny right here. Okay? That's where, Penji, what you said exists. Your karam are all being written down because you're the one that is performing the actions. Then you've got a circle that's bigger than that. That circle is the Guru. Then you've got a circle that's bigger than that. Okay? And that is Akal Purakh. That is oneness. Until you don't find out how to give up free will to your Guru, you will not realize Akal Purakh. Guru is God, but also the bridge between your thoughts and mind and becoming with oneness. Guru literally defines out to, Gu means darkness, Ru means light. It is someone that takes you from darkness to light. When you let go of your free will, you're accepting ki mere liye hai nirasi. For me it was darkness. But Guru Sahib, you can lead me into the light. Therefore I have decided to not think for myself and only for you. The part it gets tricky is, you extend out to Maharaj and you say, help me, and this is Guru. Right? What does Maharaj do? You took one step into saying, I have found a Guru. And this is why in a lot of Hindu faiths, there's a bunch of Gurus. Right? In a lot of Eastern faiths, they all look for a Guru because they're trying to find a place to give up their free will. In Barney it says, if you take one step towards me, I will take 10 million steps towards you. So what Maharaj does is they take a huge step towards us. And enough of this game of love erases free will. And then you start saying what you were saying, Benji. Maharaj, sara kuch ta kita hai. I don't do anything. But in order for this thing, and then obviously after that, once you have completely given yourself to the Guru who shows you the way, even that starts to go away and you realize there was no difference between Guru and God. Because right now you might go, how can a book be God? Because even though all of you say, and all of us say it's a Jagadi Jot, how many of us treat Maharaj like a book? And I want to give you an example that's going to hurt your heart. In 2015, and even now, when Beat Biyan happened, the debates are around, why did we punish the person in the way that we did? The only reason that debate exists is because we look at Maharaj as a book. Because we are still stuck in this circle. We haven't even recognized the Guru. Why? Okay, if Guru Gobind Singh Ji was in his man shape and not in his book shape, then, and somebody took Guru Gobind Singh Ji, chopped their arms off, ripped their dadi from their face, and threw them into the sewers, what would you do? Would you debate the consequences, or would you say that's murder? Right? Sometimes we forget how tangible the experiences the Panth is going through is to us. And it all starts not with emotions, because this is an emotional way to do it. The real way to do it is to recognize the One. And that is through a game of karam and kirpa. Okay? So now, everyone understand this so far? Okay, so there's a part of me, I have to give myself up to a guru in order to make it to the next level. Does anyone have questions about that part? Because we're going to be moving from circle to circle and I can't lose you. Question? No? Yes. The difference between guru and akal exists only until you don't know who the guru is. In reality, you are God, guru is God, everyone is God, because everything is an ocean. That's what we just went through in the last workshop, right? So the difference between Guru and God is nothing, but we don't know that yet. We're still discovering it because we're under the illusion. We're in a veil of Maya. We don't understand yet. Does that make sense? It will make sense as we go along. There's 3 types of karam. Okay? There's karam that you did in your past life and that you've accumulated the whole time. And that's called Sinchit karam, for anyone that's curious. Imagine it like an armory full of arrows. This is how Bhai Singh Ji explains it. Someone asked Guru Gobind Singh Ji this question. They go, what is karam? How does it work? And Guru Gobind Singh Ji goes, Bhai Daya Ji will tell you all. Bhai Daya Ji gets up and goes, well, these are a bunch of warriors. They're not going to understand if I start just talking spiritually. So the example he gives is, he goes, there's an armory. This armory is full of weapons and arrows that you've earned, good and bad, over all of your previous lifetimes. The arrows that you can put in your myan, as in your case, what you grab and put in, that's called your pralabad karam. So when you come into this body, this life, you're already given a handful of karam. Sometimes you're like, why does God do, bad things to good people? That's an American saying, because they don't believe in reincarnation. For us, we say, Yaar, karma mere paar aisi. My karma were heavy, I had to go through this. You see, because we don't know what we've done in our past life and have not done in our past life. So we come with a handful of arrows in our casing and we take birth. Then it's kiryaman. That's the last type of karam. These are the arrows you pull out of the casing, put into your bow, and you fire. Who you decide to hit is your free will. That's how you build your karam. But if you decide, I don't want to play with these arrows, they're at your feet, Maharaj, do what you will. You have surrendered yourself. Does it make more sense now? You've taken your karam and you've gone, Hum papi, tum pap khandan. I'm a sinner, you're someone that blesses sinners. Hum sar deen diyal na tum sar. There's no one that's lower than me, Maharaj, and there's no one that's more compassionate than you. Ab pati yaar kya kijye? So why test me now, Maharaj? You see? And Maharaj in their Bani says over and over again that when Maharaj decides, and this is the million step towards you, they're not gonna do hasab kitab of what you've done good or bad. Kodda Rakshas used to kill people. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji blessed him to become a saint. And we nowadays have zero concept of forgiveness and change. But the Gurus don't, because they're Daya. You can do anything in life. You can mess up, but the Guru will never let go of your arm. Never. So that's how karma plays into your journey to Maharaj. Now, how do you take those arrows and put them in Maharaj's charan? Everybody up to that question, do you understand everything I've said so far? Thumbs up in the air. Okay, good. Very nice. So, how do you put the arrows at Maharaj's charan? Two ways. One, Jado Maharaj kirpa karan. How much does that hurt? It's when the Guru does kirpa. But if you break down kirpa, what is one definition? Karo te pao. Karo, do, pao, receive. So what do we have to do to receive? This game of Sikhi, this is the number 2. This game of Sikhi, tarleyan di khed hai. It's begging in front of Maharaj. Maharaj, mainu bacha lo. Maharaj, mainu nahi pata lagda main kithe chala. Maharaj, main tuhade charna ch ha. Maharaj, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਮੱਥਾ ਟੇਕਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦਾ ਸਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ 'ਚ ਰੱਖ ਰਿਹਾ. Please, you are all I have. ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਪਰਿਕਰਮਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ, you know what we're saying? Maharaj, you are the center of my universe. Maharaj, that's all there is. There's meaning behind why we do this. When we matha take to the Nishan Sahib, we're saying in our mind, Chul de Nishan rahe Panth Maharaj ke. Iddan da Nishan, iddan da Panth, jithe jeda vi, anybody that is suffering can come to that Nishan and receive help, aid, guidance, food, shelter. Maharaj, outside you've hung this flag that says anyone can come for shelter. Me, you're Sikh. Hum gareeb, maskeen, prabh tere. I am low, I am poor. I've done nothing in my life correctly, Maharaj. I'm at your feet. Save me. In Barni it says, if you do ardas for Naam every day, there's not a chance Maharaj won't give it to you. There's not a chance. And you know the way Bhagats speak to Maharaj? So you know how, actually let me say this first. What stops you from putting the arrows at Maharaj's feet? Okay, now we know how to put them there. What stops you? What is it? Hankar is one of them. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Hankar. Nindya, Chugli, Dvash, Adik. It's lust, it's anger, it's greed, it's emotional attachment, it's ego, it's gossiping, it's all of this stuff. Irka is jealousy. All of these negative traits that pull us down keep us from saying to Maharaj, save me. Isn't that crazy? The game is just, you just gotta fall. Whoever admits that they're nothing wins. Maharaj says over, you know, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, when he got that job in the mandi, the sabji mandi, you guys know the Sakhi? Anyone not know the Sakhi where Maharaj says, Sab kuch tera, everything is yours. Long story short, Maharaj gets a job inside of a market, and when people are coming, Maharaj in his Dayalta just starts giving everything away for free. And says, well, Maharaj, you're God, everything is God's, and he just starts handing it out. Right? When he first got the job there, the way that you actually weigh how much a vegetable costs is by using rocks. You put those rocks on the scale, and that scale tells you how much a sabji costs, right? How much a vegetable costs. Even today, you can go to that mandi, and those rocks are there that were given to Guru Nanak Dev Ji to perform the job. Maharaj took the smallest rock, and he smiled and laughed, and he said, you're so beautiful. You have so much nimrata. You've sat with all your other rock friends, and you've decided that you're the smallest. Maharaj does not care if you're perfect. Maharaj cares that you have the love and the humility. So please stop beating yourself up with guilt. Because guilt is one of those things that keeps you from just falling at Maharaj's door. You know how? Normally the way it goes, and I've seen this a lot with Amritari Singhs, and I've seen it across the board, but I'm going to give a couple of examples. You'll take Amrit, you're hyped up, and then things start slipping away. You start doubting, which is normal. You're human. If you're not, hum sar deen. Deen means I'm the lowest. What's the job of the lowest? To doubt. Stop trying to act like you have an iron mind. You cannot kill Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Hankar on your own. Then what they'll do is they'll go, mere to bhakti nahi hundi. I don't even do my Nitnem. Je main Nitnem nahi karda, main kirpan kyun tangi hai? Then they'll take the kirpan off. Then they'll say ki je main kirpan nahi tangi, te main amritari kada. They'll take the kada off. They'll shave their beard. I see this very often. And I used to see it more like when I was a Sahajtari, right? When I hadn't kept my hair, and I was so confused. And you know why I was confused? If on the inside, it's your soul, how can we compare that to a Gurdwara real quick? If the Atma, the soul, is Paramatma, then when you're inside of a Gurdwara, Guru Granth Sahib Ji is the soul of the Gurdwara, right? If the windows break in the Gurdwara, are you going to say, this is not a Gurdwara anymore, I'm tearing this thing down, and take a sledgehammer and take down the doors? You're going to take down the walls next? You're going to blow up the roof? No matter what you do, the soul is still there. No matter how hard you try, once you take Amrit, once you give your head to the Guru and you cross that line, it doesn't matter what you do anymore, that Amrit will never leave you. It's that simple. That's how much your Guru's got you, even if you don't feel it. But instead of getting into again, it's all the mind, because now you've went back into free will, and you've decided, right? And we do this, guilt is one example. We do it with fear. We do it with, Aaj main meat khada, main matha nahi tek sakta. Come on, man. Are you serious? Just go to the Gurdwara. Nah, man, I went out last night and I partied. I can't go to the Gurdwara tomorrow morning. Bro, wash up, brush your teeth, go to the Gurdwara. Do you see how you can now stop yourself from putting the arrows at Maharaj's charan? Because you've allowed fear and guilt to run your life. Who cares if you've recognized it's an illusion? You just beat yourself up in the process. How heartbreaking is that? Sometimes we think, when I become perfect, then I will take the next step. You don't become perfect and then bring in Gurbani. You bring in Gurbani and Gurbani cleans you. That's how it happens. That's the journey of a Sikh. So in that process, remember, don't start breaking the doors and walls of the Gurdwara just because you make a couple of mistakes. It doesn't make sense. A window replacement is easy. You're not doing your Nitnem? No problem. Show up to a camp. You can't, honestly, we don't hear this enough because everybody acts like a perfect Sikh. I have days where I feel like I can't read Bani, but I know that it's my Guru's hukum. So I just put in ear pods, play Nitnem and stare at my Gotka, even though I don't feel like we're looking at the words. If you can't do that, just listen. If you can't do that, while you're driving, listen. While you're working, listen. Just listen. You never know what tok is going to hit you in the heart. But just play the Barniya. Just try. Don't be like, nah, I'm doing injustice to Barney, right? Like we get into this thing, right? I've heard even things like, Jay Gurdwara de vichon, you take the curtains off and they're putting on new ones. Don't put them in your home because in your home you have alcohol and all this and the curtains are blessed and you don't want to do that. What? If anything, those curtains are blessed. By bringing them into your house, you'll be cleansed. Like we have such a guilt-ridden mind as a panth that we're like, nah, I mess up, bro. So I can't take that step to be with my Guru. Oh, no, I'm a Monna, therefore I can't do X, Y, and Z. When people used to come to Guru Nanak Dev Ji and ask for things, you know what he used to say? Langar ja ke pande manjo. Go inside the langar and wash the pande. Go inside the langar and wash pande. Why? Why is that? This is a part of putting the arrows down. Every time you do seva, your karma are cleaned away. It's what Benji was saying. Every time you do seva, your karma are cleaned and something new comes. What do I mean by that? There was once two guys. They were best friends. One of them used to own a market and the other one used to work. And it was during Guru Nanak Dev Ji's time. They go, yo, there's a Peer that's visiting the area. Let's go talk to him, right? And they both decide, yeah, you know what? We should totally go do that. Let's do that. And when they go to do that, on the way, one of them finds out that there's a caravan in town with dancers, right? Baki aap samjh lo. And his buddy goes, yeah, sorry, man, I'm not trying to go listen to a Peer when I can go watch dancers. And he goes, all right, fine. Like, I'll go there and you go there. He goes, chal theek hai. So he starts going to the dancer every day. He starts going to Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They both come back at the end of the day. He goes, oh man, you should have seen these dancers. Next level, right? And the other guy goes, you should have heard Guru Nanak Dev Ji. I felt Anand. He goes, pa melna kiya vichon. I'm telling you, I had a lot of fun. As in, you just sat down all day. Now your gode hurt, right? He goes, I went there and I had a blast. And he goes, Chal, why don't we do this? For a week, you go to the dancers, I'll go to Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and let's see. And we'll talk about it on the 7th day. On the 7th day, God rested. No, I'm kidding. On the 7th day, they're traveling back. And as they're traveling back, the guy that was visiting Guru, that was going to the dancers, he gets back first. As he gets back, apni Punjabiyan di aadat hai, right? We always grab something, we start fidgeting with it. So he grabs a twig and he starts fidgeting with it and he starts digging into the ground. And as he's digging and digging and digging and digging, he sees something shine. He moves it away and he grabs it. It's a gold coin, a thick sone di more. And he's like, oh my God, I just had an amazing week. I got to see some dancers and I got a gold coin, right? He's like on the top of the world. He's like, I can't wait to tell my friend. His friend is on the way back and he steps on a spike, goes right through his foot. Dude starts bleeding. This is the guy that was visiting Guru Nanak Dev Ji every day. He's limping back. His friend, first he's like, are you okay? He's like, yeah. Then he starts laughing. He goes, Dekh liya, abde peer kol roz janda si ki ditta hone tenu. You were going to your guru every day. Look what he gave you. He goes, I was going to the dancers, and he flicks the coin and goes, look what I got. Hogi nahi dubada vadi gal. Hogi nahi like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, what's the point then? The guy gets furious, the one that was going to the guru, mere varga. He goes, you're right. This is terrible. I want answers. I want to ask him, why is this happening? So they both get together and they go to Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And they say, Guru Sahib, this is what happened. He was going to watch dancers. I was coming to listen to your kirtan. I got a spike in my foot. He got a gold coin. Why? Guru Sahib starts laughing and he goes, let me tell you about your pralabdha karma, what you brought with you in your case, in your arrows. He says to the guy with the gold coin, he goes, you were a very charitable king. You would donate a lot. And in your karam, in this janam, you were meant to receive a cauldron full of gold. But because you kept going to Veshvas, prostitutes, over and over again, you burned away your karam. And all you ended up with was a gold coin. Go back to that spot, dig further, you'll find ashes. He goes to the spot, he digs further, buckets full of ash. He finds a cauldron full of ash. Burned away his karam. The other guy goes, okay, yeah, that's fine, but like, what about me? Maharaj goes, you used to kill innocents. In this lifetime, your saja, you were going to be put on a suli. You were going to be put on a bed of spikes and crushed to death. And you left early. If you had stayed, tere sare karm naas ho jane se. You would have gotten rid of with all of them. But what was a jivan that was supposed to end on a bed full of spikes is now just a thorn in the foot. And when a Sikh realizes this, you get into a car accident, you're going to be like, oh, chalo, every Maharaj di kirpa hi honi hai, pata nahi ki hona si. Because you realize, you're like, nahi, Maharaj da naam japde hain, sangat karde hain, there's no way. You become fearless, your mindset changes. That is an explanation of karam. Karam also stop you. But doing seva, looking at the Guru, getting Guru's darshan, changes your life. I know a Singh. He has Down syndrome. Most chardi glass Singh I've ever met. When he was born, the doctors told him, you won't be able to speak. Not told him, but told his parents that your child's not going to be able to speak, he's not going to be able to walk. Then a Gursikh tells them, take him to the Gurdwara every single day without fail. Since he has been born, they take him to the Gurdwara. As he hits about 7 years old, he begins to talk out of nowhere. He looks at his Tayaji. His Tayaji is one of my closest friends. And he just says, Tayaji, WhyGuru. Him going to the Gurdwara every day washed his karam. Then he said to his Tayaji, he goes, I want to take Amrit. That's what he said. And his family, no one else was Amritari. But he was just going to the Gurdwara every day. When he would go to the Gurdwara, Jede Sharda Vade, you'll understand this. The Paisa was watching him walk down with his Nana. When he matha took and he got up, the Paisa walked up to the Nana and goes, this kid is blessed. I just saw someone in a chitta chola, chitti dastar come up and put their hand on his head. And when he talks, Sahib has met him, we spent time with him. Sometimes he'll just be like, yeah, Babaji was here today. It's just Akal Purkh te Surti. After he took Amrit, everything's been getting better. He's been growing. I've literally watching things go against science. So if you don't believe Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sakhi, maybe you believe more in like a human's, like seeing it, partak. But I'm telling you, how do you put your arrows at Maharaj's charan? 1, seva. Seva washes karam. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, if somebody came to them and asked for anything, they'd say, do seva, you'll get it. Do seva, you'll get it. Number 2, darshan. Every day, if you can, get darshan of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Get darshan of Gurbani. Get darshan. Singhs asked Guru Gobind Singh Ji when Maharaj was going to do Akal Chalana, when they were going to leave their Sarirak Roop. They said, Maharaj, how will we visit you? He said, just go to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. They said, what if we can't find Guru Granth Sahib Ji? They said, find 5 Singhs. Anywhere there's 5 Singhs, there's me. So what if we can't find 5 Singhs? They said, find just a Singh. His dadi, the star, will remind you of me. They go, what if we can't find that? Can I just look in a mirror? And I'll be right there. Just remember to do one of those. But the one you should try for the most, go to the Gurdwara, do seva, fall at Maharaj's charan. These don't sound hard, right? That's why they say Sikhi is so easy, but you know what makes it hard? Dubida, Shanka. What was the word we used today? Param. We get into a doubt. Yeah, there's no way, man. Or I'm tired today, I don't want to go. That's fine, you don't want to go, but just remember, there's a path to this. So all of these things are steps towards your Guru. Within those steps, there's so many conversations we have. Is Dasam Granth legit or not? Why should we do Rag Kirtan? Why is this? Why is that? Everything is just param. And the guys know that we're sleeping in the cabin, right? They were asking my opinion on like a couple of organizations. My answer is simple. If you don't like what an organization does, do it yourself. Why should I take the time to do nindya of them? Why should I take the time to say negative about any jathebandi? There's only one line I draw, and that's if you try to challenge Gurbani. Any Sikh. Gur ki ninda sune na kaan. Other than that, yeah, man, you wanna do you. I don't really care. If your Maryada says that you need to go outside and jump 3 times and then do Matha Tek, fine, dude. That's your path. Like, why are we so concerned about each other? Why can't we just accept that we're all different flowers in the same garden? If I'm a rose, my Maryada is gonna explain to you, hey, don't touch me. There's a thorn. You're gonna bleed. But if, Singh's Maryada is a sunflower, then it's different. You treat that flower differently. If AKJ Kirtan runs Ran Sabai up until 3 a.m. and a Taksali has to go to sleep early because they have to do Vidya at 4 a.m., then why would you put one Maryada on the other? One connects to God through Kirtan, one connects through Vidya. If a Nihang Singh wakes up at midnight and does Nitnem until 8 a.m. and then does Koryandi Seva all day, why would you tell him you're too dirty to touch Gurbani? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's so many nuances, but we've made our entire panth black and white. Why am I spending time in this? Because this is one of those dubidas that will keep you from putting your arrows at the feet of the Guru. The more you spend time infighting about silly topics, the longer you will stay away from your Guru. Bhai Subrit Singh Ji put me onto a great mindset. One day he just looked at me and he goes, it's such a kirpa that we fight each other and open new Gurdwara. I was like, what? And he goes, yeah. Maharaj di seva hundi a, sona Gurdwara ban janda, and Maharaj is in another location. And you can go Matha Tek there. And I was like, wow, that's so true. And then after that, I was like, wow, how cool is it that people do Nindya of Dasam Granth? Because that makes me study more Dasam Granth. Right? We wouldn't have had this much Dasam Parchar if the Nindaks hadn't come. So Tanya Nindak. You see what I'm saying? Somebody gossips about you and you go, oh man, I'm so angry. And that's all you think about for the next month. Why are these people talking smack about me? Dude, Gurbani says, if someone does Nindya of you, they're licking your waist. They're taking on your karam. You guys want to hear a Sakhi related to that? There was a Raja. He was shuffling kode, the lead, as in horse poop. As he was shoveling that lead, a sadhu comes to him and says, please give me something to eat. And he goes, yo, go away. Like, I'm busy right now. I'm sweating. I'm like stuck in horse poop. He says, come on, I'm a sadhu, give me something. He grabs a pile of lead and he hands it onto the sadhu and he goes, I'll laugh it. Sadhu goes, thank you, walks away. The Raja the next day takes a shower, gets ready and goes, oh, I hear there's a sadhu in town, let me go meet him. When he goes to meet the sadhu, he sees that there's a mountain of lead sitting outside of the sadhu's house. And he goes, oh man, that's disgusting. Walks, because he just had an experience with lead the prior day. He goes to the sadhu, goes, why do you have a mountain of lead outside? He goes, oh, somebody gave me lead yesterday, and when you give something to a sadhu, you get it back 1,000 times. So that's not mine, that's the guy that gave it to me. He falls at his feet and he goes, that was me, I'm so sorry. And he says, I'm sorry, but it's in your karam now, you have to eat it. Because you gave it to me as food. And anything you do to a sadhu, sadhu di mehma is written all in Sukhmani Sahib. What happens if you do nindya of a sadhu? What happens if you do nindya of a brahmgyani? He goes, I'm sorry, it's in your karam now, you have to eat the mountain of lead. And he's like, please, tell me, how can I get away with it? He goes, it's your karam. He gets really worried, he walks away. He meets another Mahapark. Mahapark is someone that's on the path of Sikhi that has defeated Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar and is always focused on Naam, Barni and Simran. Right? He meets another Mahapark and the Mahapark goes, Main tenu ek jugti de thadna. I can tell you a way where you don't have to eat the mountain. He goes, what is it? Tell me now. He goes, Nindya. If people do your Nindya, they have to eat it. He goes, what? Okay. So what he does is he takes a Javan Kudi, because the Raja is older, and he just starts walking around town with her. He doesn't hold her hand, he doesn't do anything wrong. The loki gallan banaun la pende a. Raja nu dekhya? Did you see the king? He's walking around with a girl. Oda affair chalda hona. He's probably doing something with her. That's exactly what we do. We see two people together. How long do you think it's been since they've been dating? Immediately. It's like, apna man te gand ch hunda hi agle nu bhi gand ch pa deida. You see? So everyone starts doing nindya. He goes back to the original sadhu's house and he sees that the mountain it's like this big, which was the original mount that he had given. And he was like, man, why isn't it going away? The entire sansar is doing my nindya. So then he goes and he meets the second Mahapark again. He goes, hey, there's still a little bit left. He goes, well, now you need a Mahapark to do your nindya. He goes, okay, I think I got this. He puts on a shawl on his head. He goes to visit the original sadhu, and he says, did you hear about the king? He's been walking, and he's been walking around with the girl. Before he can finish his sentence, the Mahapark goes, Chup! Main nahi kisi di lead dikhani. And the Raja takes the blanket off of his head, and he goes, oh, I'm so sorry, it is me. And he goes, main kyon kisi di nindya karun? Main kyon lead karun? This is why our Guru tells us, don't even listen to nindya. Because even listening to it, you're eating other people's waste. So then he says to the sadhu, he goes, what do? I don't want to eat it, not even this much. He goes, I can just tell you a nokta. Thoda roj leke pani ch pa ke, put it in water, take some churan, some salt, some pepper, mix it up and drink it. And you won't taste it, but you'll have to go through your karam. Our karam, there's a pile that we have to go through. We have to go through it. But there's a large pile that can be erased through good deeds, and the clause outside of good deeds is if someone does your nindya. So imagine how bad it is to do nindya. And imagine how bad it is. You know, Bhagat Kabirji used to act like a drunk so that people would do his nindya so that he could meet God. The Raja whose story I just told you about, his name is in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. I believe it's Raja Ajamal. All of these stories are true. This is Guru Sahib's way. What else do we learn from that story? A Mahapark can, one, show you the way to eliminate your karam, and two, even if you have to go through karam, they can make it easier. That brings me to my point of sangat. The importance of sangat is so big because it is within sangat that we can learn to go through the pains of our life while being connected to the Guru. Remember I said Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, Nindya, Chugli, Irkha, all of these things. Why? Why Irkha? Irkha is jealousy. Even if you think bad for someone, that's a karam. Every move you make is a karam. That's why in Guru Granth Sahib Ji it says, Maharaj, my paap are as big as the ocean. How will I ever meet you? Here's the thing. This also comes up in Islam as well, where they say, my sins are as big as the mountain. But Allah, you are the sky. The sky completely enraptures the mountain. The mountain looks like nothing in front of the sky. So why are you afraid? No matter your karam, if you fall at your Guru's charan, Guru Sahib will show you a way out. Does that make sense? Now, the way to get to the Guru. Okay, everybody with me so far? You guys feeling tired? Everybody's good? Okay. Your man is like a kutte di poosh. I didn't say that. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji said that. I'll pull up the Barney for you, just so you're not like, whoa, Bhai Sahib got on stage and called us all kutte diyan poochhan. I didn't, man. Guru Sahib called it to all of our mans. Guru Tegh Bahadur Parchar. Here it is. Yeh man nek na kahyo kare. I tell this mind, hey, do good things. It doesn't listen to my advice. Sikh sakhaye raho apni, si durmat te na tara. I'm so tired of giving it instructions and it ends up doing its evil deeds anyways. How many of us go to sleep at night, every night going, main amrit vele uthna, and as soon as that alarm rings, we go, nah, this bed is way too cozy. I do it, yeah, you don't have to raise your hands, don't worry, you don't have to expose yourself. We all do it. That is how fickle the mind is. Manane dolana hi dolana hai. That's why instead of saying, I'm gonna get up, you go, Maharaj, please uthal leo. Right? Yesterday, just something to loosen you up. Last night, when we were here until midnight, I was like, Maharaj, baat rakh leo. They've called us as speakers. We can't get up in the morning. Sada ki banuga? Maharaj, bacha leo. Right? I was like, Maharaj, baat rakh leo. Maharaj ne aisi kirpa kiti that when we woke up in the morning, all the things were laughing, playing, and wrestling, and yelling, and screaming. And I was like, well, no choice to sleep. Thank you, Maharaj. But even that's kirpa. Right? I couldn't win my mind, but Maharaj blessed the Gursikhs to have such adorable laughters that I couldn't stop but laughing. And and then Maharaj says, Mad maya ke peo bavaro har jas nahi uchra. My mind has gone insane, intoxicated in maya. All it wants to do is make money, grind, hustle, go out, have fun, drink, smoke, chill. It does not want to jap your, it doesn't want to sit in your darbar. Because as soon as I sit down, I feel anxious. Like, it's like, what do I do? What do I do? Maharaj, my mind is crazy. It's intoxicated. I don't know what to do. Then Maharaj says, Kar par panch jagat ko dehka apno udar para. It practices deceit. It tries to cheat the world, and it fills its belly that way. What does that mean? We fight each other about, a good Sikh is someone that does this. You know the amount of times I've heard, haan, si daru pinde honge, par case te nahi na katte. And then on the other side I hear, haan, case te katte hain, par lokan vich daadiyan dastana rakh ke daru te nahi na pinde. Bro, why are you looking at other people? Hum nahi changa, bura nahi koi. Right? I'll say it in an American way. If you point at someone, there's 3 fingers pointing right back at you. So why are you pointing? Right? So the thing is, the web that we spin, oh, I'll do part, bas main ek wari paise kama lawa, fir main part kar lunga. That web is what's going to hurt you. Maharaj says this web that you're spinning of Maya, you're going to land face first. Why? Because you think being a manmukh, man means your mind. Mukh means where your face is. Which way are you looking? That's what the singing corps this morning were teaching us, right? If you're following your own mind and rationalizing things on your own, you will always make a mistake. But if you go Gurmukh, if you make your face the Guru, and you say, what would Guru Nanak Dev Ji do? Right? Or you take a hukamnama, or you do an ardas in your mind. Look, you can put Maharaj in your life in every moment. How? You get in the car, Maharaj gadi chalaun lagya, kirpa rakh leo. You start driving. You get to work, Maharaj, aa kursi taadi bakshi hoyi hai. Jo bhi aaj kehna ko hona hoya, whatever I am meant to say or do, aap kara leo. You're about to start a test, Maharaj Sache Pacha, I don't know anything on this test, aap kar leo. Maharaj will always take care of you. I remember I was taking the GRE. Oh God, I'm about to expose myself. And the night before the GRE, me and a buddy, I was like, I didn't study. We should go to the Gurdwara. He goes, yeah. Because every time we got to study, we would start playing tag in the library. We would start like watching Netflix, just being an absolute nuisance. And the night before, I was like, bro, I think we messed up. I need to go to the Gurdwara. And then he was like, all right. So we sit in the Gurdwara, but in Nanda Bajja, we ended up staying there for 5-6 hours. And I wasn't like even in Sikhi yet, like in the Sarup. And I was like, man, that was amazing. And a Singh walks in, and the Singh goes to say, and I told him, oh yeah, I was supposed to study for the GRE, and I didn't. This was happening. And he goes, koi na, swed nu panch baniyan kar li. I had at that point never done panch baniyan in my life. And I was like, that's going to take me a while. My GRE is pretty early. Kanda koi na, oh kar li, phir tenu tension lene di lod nahi. I was like, all right. So I woke up, and I did my panch baniya, and I was late to the test. And I showed up, but I showed up like at the last minute. They were like, yeah, you can go in. And when I sat at that computer, I remembered this advice. Just do ardas. Maharaj, I need a 151 to pass this. Whatever you do not let me get 150. Thank you. And I like started taking the test, right? And obviously I've studied a bit. You have to do a bit of uddam, but nowhere near as like trying to get the score I needed. And with the GRE, they give you the test immediately. And I remember there were so many questions where I was like, Tan Guru Nanak, and I just like pressed. I'm not telling you to go take tests like this. I'm just telling you how to have parosa. God, I'm such a bad role model. I'm a delinquent, man. Yeah. And I go and I do this, right? I was like 21 at the time. And I hit submit, and I get a 151. I call my buddy, and I go, oh God, I did it. I got a 151. And he was like, bro, you know, if you had studied, you would have done great. I was like, yeah, but like Maharaj ne pata rakh li. I said a very jokingly story, but it's true. Anything in your life, every moment in your life, Maharaj, bura hove jan changa hove, you take care of it. Even if bad happens, don't be like, Maharaj, why'd you do bad? Just say, all right, well, I'm here, mere karma honge, par tusi mere karma nalo vadde hain, please show me a way. You are bigger than my karma, please show me a way. If you get in that humility in everything you do, you'll be fine. Right? Subrit Singh and I, by Subrit Singh Ji and I, we were speaking. He's like, yeah, I don't go on vacation unless I take a hukamnama. Maharaj will be like, yeah, it'll be charity. The guy goes, I know the vacation's going to be great. And I was like, yeah, man, same. I literally, like, me and him always, like, we're going somewhere, we'll do an ardas, on our phone, we'll pull up the Hukmnama app, we'll take a Hukmnama. Maharaj, we don't even ask for anything, just Maharaj, what do you think? Take the Hukmnama, read the Hukmnama, chalo Maharaj da kar lenne hain. Why? Because you're having a conversation with your God every single day. And you're meditating, and you're doing ardas, and you're even in school, you're saying, Maharaj, this homework will only be done. This is for my procrastinators out there. Maharaj, this homework will only be done if you do kirpa. You bring yourself into that sahaj avastha, you'll start doing it. Everything you do. Okay. Swan pooch jo hoye, na suddho, kehyo na kaan tare. Like a dog's tail, this mind will not straighten out. It doesn't listen to what I tell it to do. They say the mind is like a kutte di pooch. No matter how much you try to straighten it, it does not straighten. So what's the answer? Kaho Nanak, Bhaj Ram Naam, Nit Jate Kaj Sare. Just keep saying WhyGuru, WhyGuru, WhyGuru. Bas naam japi chalo. Bas naam jap liya, te tade sare kaj. Jate kaj sare. Sare means savar jane, which means complete. Whatever kaj you need to complete will happen. So Bhai Mardana ji asked a question, because I know how it goes. You're gonna think, but if I just start doing WhyGuru, WhyGuru, then how will I live life? If I focus more time on Naam Simran and Barney, how will I live life? Bhai Mardana ji asked Guru Nanak Dev Ji that. He goes, you know what I love about Bhai Mardana ji and Guru Nanak Dev Ji's relationship? He's always questioning Guru Nanak Dev Ji. He's like, Maharaj, you keep telling everyone to jap Naam, but if everybody starts doing Naam Simran, how is everyone going to eat? Guru Nanak Dev Ji goes, Bhai Mardana ji, ek wari karke te dekh lein, nadiyan nu dudh bana dun, te ਦਰਖਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਖਾਣਾ ਡਿੱਗੂ. He said, I implore the world to try just once, to everyone start doing Naam Simran, and I will turn these rivers into milk, and I will turn trees into stations of food. No one will have to work. Everyone will be in Anand. Someone that believes in the power of the Guru, and in Naam Simran will say Chardi Kala. Someone like Moon will go, but I have a dairy allergy, and if rivers turn to milk, what will I do? Yeah, but is the food gluten-free? The man always goes to the wrong thing. Anytime we listen to examples or anything, we start going, where is it written? Bro, have Sharda. Why are we killing Sharda? Just all I'm saying is, to defeat this circle, do Naam, do Bani, go visit your Guru, go do Seva, stop beating yourself up, and before you know it, you'll be in Anand. Because you'll know all there is your Guru. That circle of free will is gone. But there can be no step to the Guru as long as we stay in home. So we have to take those steps. Now, the mind is fickle. Like I said, it's like a kutte di poosh, right? But it's also your best friend. Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, if my mind did not jap naam right now, I wouldn't be able to experience you. Thank you, mind, my best friend, for saying Simran. It's a kutte di poosh when it doesn't listen, and it's your best friend when it listens. So how do you make it listen? Okay, one is, again, Guru di kirpa. Without kirpa, nothing can happen. You have to beg for kirpa. Hum kukar tere darbar. I am a dog at your darbar. That's the thing about a Gursikh, right? The longer you spend in Sikhi, the more javabs you'll start saying, like, yeah, I might be a dog, but I'm Maharaj's dog. And he's got my back. The nirpata, it starts to take birth inside of you. You're not afraid of anything then. We have Rag Kirtan. Rag Kirtan was made in a way where each tune and each rag was meant to put a spell on your mind and bring you into the charan of Guru Sahib. There's rags that are only meant to be played at certain times of the day. And there are rag that are meant to only be played in certain seasons. Maharaj took seasons and times and tied them to your emotions with music. And do you know how we lost that? We lost that through the British. When they came, like Benji said, they found us to be scary. So what did they start targeting? This is the bit of history. I think my topic was something about British Raj and the effect on the Sikh ethos. We've just been talking about meeting God. So let's talk a little bit about the British, just so you know where you come from. They wrote a report. In this report, they present it to Parliament and they have these instruments. When they ride their horses, on one side they have the instrument, on the other they have the sword. The power to wield their sword comes from this book they have called Dasam Granth. It is militant. Their beauty and love that makes them so pious comes from their instruments. We must disrupt their cycle. Not a single illiterate can be found within this kingdom, whether they are Hindu, Muslim, or Sikh. Why is that? You know, when Maharaja Ranjit Singh put gold on the Golden Temple, he put an equivalent amount of gold on mandirs and mosques. In his Raj, when a Gurdwara was built, a mosque and a mandir were built with it. But if you wanted to build a mosque, mandir, or Gurdwara, you had to build a school. No exceptions. And in those schools, they were given out. Books on literacy. Literacy rates were at 0. It was a literal utopia. And they saw that. It made them scary. There's a Sakhi that Bhai Sahib told me yesterday. Maharaja Ranjit Singh had 20,000 bande trying to take over a certain fort. He comes to Akali Baba Phula Singh Ji, asks for help. Akali Baba Phula Singh Ji, who was the Jathedar of Akal Takht at the time, Maharaja Ranjit Singh was the king of the Sikh Empire, and Akali Baba Phula Singh Ji was the Jathedar of Akal Takht at that time. He decides to help the Maharaja. He blows a conch shell. Upon blowing it, 500 Nihang Singhs roll up out of nowhere, start running through Darbar Sahib. Maharaj ji Sankh bajaya. You played the Sankh. Do you need us for war? Tiyar bar tiyar. 10 futtiyan karpana. Pulled out. We're ready. Maharaja Ranjit Singh was standing there. He looked at Akali Baba Phula Singh Ji and he said, are you raising an army inside of my Raj? And Akali Baba Phula Singh said, "E Akali Faujaya." These are God's warriors. These aren't yours. What 20,000 of Maharaja Ranjit Singh's troops couldn't do, through the easy entrance of the fort. 500 Akali Singhs did through the hardest entrance. And you know why they took the hardest entrance? When they asked Sher Singh, who was the son and a general under Maharaj Ranjit Singh, they asked him, which door is the easiest to enter? They said, that one, but we've already lost 20,000 soldiers. We can't make it through. We have to go through that one. Akali Baba Phula Singh kende, Akal Purkh sade naal hai, sar nalo okhi kehdi hai. What's the hardest one? God is with us. He goes, I think it's the one that's around the back. Kali Baba Phula Singh, the Khalsa will ride to the hardest one. We'll show them. Akal Purkh di taakat ki hoi je asi sar nalo okha nahi ta sake. So what is the power of God? What is the point of being God's Faujan if we can't take out the strongest door? 500 of them took down what 20,000 regular Sikhs couldn't. Someone asked me today, aren't we all Akali Faujan? No. Akali Faujan wake up at midnight and do a strict para. Clean korde on the lead all day long. Wash their korde. Our Rera Sahib lasts 10 to 15 minutes. Theirs, along with Aarti Arta, lasts 45 minutes to an hour. They're doing bhakti around the clock. There's written record of Mughals saying that, different forces, Turkish forces, saying that there is no one that has a better aim than the Akali Faujan. And the reason was Shastra Naam Mala. They would do job of Shastra Naam Mala, and when they would release a tir, they would hit spot on. I had heard this Saki. Again, I'm going to tell you examples of me just because I know everyone's mind will go into Dubada. So instead of telling you history, I'll relate history to things that I've seen. In California, you're allowed to get a CCW, which is when you're allowed to conceal a gun. But in order to carry that gun, you need to take a test. In order to pass the test, you have to hit a target. I go target shooting. I've never shot a gun before. I don't know why I decided that I would give the test immediately. As the target was close, I hit them. When it got far, it was so much, sweat was coming on my eyes and I couldn't see. And I missed my first 2 shots, and if I missed the third, I would fail the test. I put the gun down, and I was like, Maharaj, ਤੁਹਾਡੀਆਂ ਫੌਜਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਿਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਸ਼ਾਸਤਰ ਨਾਮ ਵਾਲਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ. I did a mool mantra in my mind, and I said, horny ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨਾ ਟੁੱਕਦਾ, because Maharaj said, Nishchay Parosa, Maharaj said, I would not miss. Pointed, shot, right on target. Each one. Didn't even know how to shoot. So of course, Akali Faujan that are doing not just one mool mantra, this is what I'm saying, we don't even do one mool mantra a day. And then we go, why did God do this to me? Why does God do bad things to good people? Well, you came with karam. You might be a good person now, but there's a lot more to this game. You need to erase that me to get to the Guru. We're on a time clock here, bud. We can die at any moment. We got to get there. Not to increase panic, because it is a game of love, but to say when you realize it is a panic, because you're like, oh, Maharaj, take me now. I don't want to live another moment without you. I think when I realized that I wanted to take Amrit, I called my dad and I was like, I messed up. He goes, what? I was like, I should have taken Amrit as a kid. Why haven't I taken Amrit yet? He was like, yo, slow down. You want to take Amrit? And I was like, yes, I do. And the moment I realized was when a sadhu asked me, why do you doubt Amrit? And I was like, because I know I can't handle it. I can't take care of it. He started laughing. He goes, you're not going to take care of Amrit. Amrit's going to take care of you. And I was like, oh. He's like, tum avda bas ser de din Guru nu. Just give your head to the Guru, he'll take care of the rest. And I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. I'm so down. I was like, yes, are you telling me all of my worries in life will go away just by accepting that God can do a better job than me? That seems like a pretty logical thing. And after that, and don't get me wrong, when I got to the Amrit Sanchar, the Panch Singhs say, if you're here and you have doubts, you can leave now. I fully put my weight on my arms and I was like, yeah, I have doubts. I should leave. And as I got up, I saw Guru Granth Sahib Ji right in front of me, and a thought hit my mind. If not now, when? Will I die without ever tasting this Amrit? And then I was like, all right, you know what, fine. I'm just going to sit here. Let's just go with the flow. Let's see what happens. And honestly, life has changed. Life has changed. Because you just keep giving every worry that you have to the Guru. And every time, look, I'm not saying, you take Amrit and it's all fairy dust, No. You definitely slip up. You definitely make mistakes. And you definitely start losing faith. We're human. ਆਪਾਂ ਇਸ ਜੰਗ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਸੇ ਹੋਏ ਆ. ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਿਤ ਜੰਗੇ. That person is the Khalsa that goes to war every day. don't saddle up your horses and start chopping off heads. It means on the inside, you go to war every day. I have days where I'm just like, I don't know, man. Is God real? Dude, yesterday when we were watching the 84 movie, I was like, Maharaj, why? You know, even after saying all of this, I'm telling you, you get into dubada. But then you're like, no, Maharaj. You reassure your faith because you're around Sangat. As soon as we started talking about it's all an illusion, I was like, it is an illusion. It is dubada. But we all need Sangat. Just because we put on a chola does not mean we know anything. It's just something that I like wearing because I don't want to come into my Guru Sharan without wearing the uniform of the Khalsa. I feel like a kid coming to school without his uniform. It feels weird. But it doesn't mean that we're some type of masters of Gyan and we never mess up or anything like that. This path, everyone makes mistakes. Maharaj says that this path is Kanyotiki Waloniki. It is sharper than the edge of a sword and smaller than the tip of a hair. Bro, that's impossible. Who is supposed to walk on that? How can you walk on that? That's the game. You gotta say it's impossible. I can't walk on it. You can. I quit. Please accept me. I quit. Here's my head. You do it. Do you understand? You can only break the illusion if you understand that you can't break the illusion. Only your Guru can. That is what this entire drawing circles on a board has been about. That's what this entire game is about. So let's uplift one another. If we are hanging out and laughing and giggling and whatever, let's talk about the Guru. Even if it's in a funny context. Someone was mentioning our Singh, Gyan Singh, and he'll bring up like random topics. Like he'll be like, if you drank out of a water bottle before you took Amrit, and then you take Amrit, would you drink out of that same water bottle? Because wouldn't it be jhoot of a be Amritari? Right? So it's funny, but you have to realize it's not the answer to the question that matters. It matters that the avastha of a Gursikh is at a point where even in his jokes he's thinking about the Guru. You see what I'm saying? You can retain your personality and be a Gursikh. You can retain who you are and still take Amrit and walk on this Guru's path. You don't have to be, you don't have to be in this like, you know, me and Sahib always joke, you'll hear us say this all the time, Khalsa nahi hasna kirda. The Khalsa's not allowed to smile. Because we've really put that persona on ourselves. I remember one time Gyani Sher Singh Ji was doing katha, and they said something really funny, and me and a couple Singhs started laughing quite loud because it was funny, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji said it, and they said Guru Gobind Singh Ji's laugh was like Baddal Gajde Hundeya, and Maharaj leaned back and his Kalgi leaned back and he was laughing and his cheeks were red and we were like ah, and we were smiling because we saw our Guru laugh. But as soon as we left the darbar, someone pulled us aside and goes, "Ha Sida nahi hunda darbar vich." And ever since then I've been like Khalsa nahi hasta. Because we've made it way too strict, man. Now, don't be belligerent. Don't be a delinquent. Don't just start doing random things. And, you know, like I said, don't start breaking the windows of a gurdwara internally, not physically. It's the metaphor. You know, don't start beating yourself up. And also at the same time, don't start doing things like, well, if it's just a book, then why do Chor Sahab? And at that point, why even put him on a takht? I've heard people say things like, we don't believe in ritualism, so matha taking is a ritual because everything is on the inside. You have to be really lost from this circle game and really deep within your me circle to say things like that. This is why I'm saying you have to learn. I don't want to go into answering that stuff. You in your own life have to learn, how can I give my head to the Guru? How can I walk on the path to give my head to the Guru? That's all it's ever been about. That's how you break the illusion. Is everyone with me? Rag Kirtan was one of those ways. Dasambani was one of those ways. Why? Because it ties our brain into it. How did breaking the string instruments, we used to have string instruments, right? Guru Gobind Singh Ji had an instrument called the Dilruba. Dilruba means heart snatcher. The name of the instrument was heart snatcher because when it plays, it steals your heart. And it used to be in the form of a taus, which used to look like a peacock. And the back would have feathers, and it would have strings in the front, and the front is like a morni. And because during war we couldn't carry that with us, Maharaj made a smaller version at the age of 14, so that they could carry it on the horses as they went to war. During the day, they would fight. You know what tune they would fight to? Jagardan, Nagardan, Bagardan, Baje. They would literally move to the chawl of Japsab, to the chawl of Dasambani, because that's what they knew. That's what they had experienced. At night, they would sit down and play their stringed instruments. Now, I'm not a singer, but I'm about to try and attempt to show you vocally the difference. I'm not a kirtani. The difference between a French harmonium, which is what we use nowadays, and a stringed instrument. Okay. Do you guys know the difference between Padshad and Ladivar? Raise your hand if you know the difference between Padshad and Ladivar. Okay. Ladivar is when Gurbani is written as one long line. There's actually not really breaks inside of it. The breaks are called Padshad. The way we're supposed to read Bani is Ladivar. And I suck at it, so I do both, right? But when I do read Ladivar, it forces you to figure out what Shabad is next, which forces you to figure out the meaning, and honestly, you connect more. And the people that are trying to read Ladivar can attest to that. That's why the Gurus wrote it as one long line. A French harmonium is Padshad. The Sare Gama Pada Nisa comes in breaks. Sare Gama Pada. It's like that. A stringed instrument is Ladivar. It never breaks. A French harmonium is like Tun Thakur. You know, you hear like how when kids are saying. On a stringed instrument, it's Tun Thakur. It's all one. And that string instrument like pulls you in. Look, no kirtan is worse than French harmonium, make your own tune kirtan. But rag kirtan on string instrument is the best. Does that make sense? But the British took it away. That's why Akal Takht is mandating that within the next 2 years, every instrument played inside of Akal Takht, inside of Harmandir Sahib has to be stringed. People were in uproar about this. I'm like, why are you uproaring about this? They're literally taking you back to your roots. And then you have the gall to say Akal Takht is corrupt. When they do something right, you go and, you scream. When they don't do something, you scream. Are you ever going to be happy? Again, it comes down to mindset. It comes down to mindset. Let's start looking at the positives. I actually want to touch up on that. This is a bit of a tangent. Akal Takht gave Sant Jarnail Singh Ji a hukum that you cannot enter Darbar Sahib with guns. He could have gone on the mic and said, Akal Takht is corrupt. How dare they say this? Our Gurus told us to be Shastrtari. But you know what he did? He respected the Gaddi of Guru Har Gobind Parchar, and he said, this is wrong, but Sat Bachan. And that's why you'll notice in the videos, he Matha takes from the Parkarma. He says, I can't leave the Shastra because it's my Guru's hukum, but I can't enter Darbar Sahib because it's my Guru's Takht's hukum. That's how you follow Sikhi. Stop with this whole, that institution is corrupt, that one is corrupt, I don't listen to them. Tum bahut vada jathedar hai? No. Figure this out first. Become a Brahmgyani and then lead us. Find your inside first. Why do you think these people are able to go and laugh in the face of Shahidi? Because they're like, nothing exists, it's all an illusion. Because they followed this path. Not because they sat there debating each other on Twitter about which Granth is more authentic. You know what I'm saying? It's so silly. Like, literally I go on, like, Sahib has shown me tweets where he's like, yeah, dude, like, it's literally the sake of fighting for the sake of fighting. You fight each other over what? Stop. For someone like me, it hurts me. What are you fighting about, bro? Nothing. Naam jap and help me. Because you fighting is just putting me in more turmoil, because now I'm sitting there going, yeah, which Granth is more authentic? I'd rather you tell me, Aja veer naam jap deya, and then me go, I don't wanna, and you go, nahi japna pehna, and I'm like, alright, fine. That's Sangat. Sometimes we go, yeah, asi Sangat karte hain, but it's really just you guys sitting in a circle just laughing and playing. No mention of Maharaj. This type of stuff, I'm sure your legs are hurting, but I'm sure you're enjoying it. Why? Because it's all Sakhis of God. When that happens, that's a form of Naam Simran. That's a step in deleting that middle circle. Then the rest of the path comes. The circle of how we go from Guru to Akal Purkh, I'll tell you later. I'll tell you tonight. but more on the circle on the inside, the British began to break us away from Dasam Granth, began to break us away from all of these things because they wanted to make sure that we could be controlled. They started to buy Qaede literature back from the people by offering gold for books, and then they burned the books. Our Qaede used to be written, the Uda Ada Idi Sasaha, with each akkad, instead of being Uda Ut, Ada Amb, it used to be Uda O Ankar. Right? When you do it that way, a kid, when they would finish the Qaede during Maharaja Ranjit Singh's time, would already know the Arth of Japji Sahib before they even knew that they know the Arth of Japji Sahib. But don't worry, because Maharaj Di Beyant Kirpa Denal Bhai Supreet Singh Ji has started to rewrite that Granth. And he's about halfway done, where the Kanne, the Siharis, the Biharis are all from Japji Sahib with Arth. So by the time, tomorrow your children are going to grow up, they'll already know the meanings of Japji Sahib. There's also another Singh who made a Qaeda like that. I'm sure you guys have heard about him. And he has coloring books that have to do with Sikhi. It's the coolest thing. And also like art similar to this. So there's resources. The thing is this, guys. Let me tell you something super optimistic. We've been talking about how the British have screwed us, right? Let me tell you about how they just can't. When Baba Banda Singh Bahadur and his soldiers were arrested, people started throwing tomatoes and bricks at him. You know what they said? They started laughing. The Singhs started to laugh. They looked over at everybody that was throwing tomatoes and bricks, and they said, Koina, horn sut lo, Javara, Davara, eithe janam lena, te jadon janam liya, te ehi sirhand fateh karni a. Phe dekhyo tusi. Go ahead and throw all the bricks and tomatoes that you want. Because as soon as we leave this body, we're coming back. In this roop. And you'll see this dastar and dadi. And when we beat you, we'll see who laughs. That's Chardikala. That's knowing that you're in an illusion. That is coming at your Guru's charan. Baba Baj Singh was the one that went and did Fateh of Sirhand after that. Baba Baj Singh, when he did Fateh, he was really terrifying. I'm going to tell you how terrifying some Singhs got. In order to let the Mughals know that Khalsa has arrived, and I have to let you know, when a Khalsa would get onto a battlefield, Mughals write that it used to look like the god of war has entered onto the field. Hindus that would go against us would write that it looked like Chandi aap pargat ho ke sade naal laddi si. That's what it would look like. Do you know why? Baba Baj Singh's horse, his saddle, where he puts his foot to get onto the horse, used to have a Mughal head tied to it. He would step onto a Mughal head and then get on the saddle. The tail of his horse used to have Mughal heads tied to it. He would ride up into Mughal Faujan, and everybody would go, that's Baj Singh. He's the one that ties Mughal heads to his kartiyan. Do you know how terrifying that is? You go, oh, but where's the Nimrata? Where's the Komalta? I'll tell you where the Nimrata and Komalta is. Maharaja Ranjit Singh goes to battle one day. The Akali Faujan are coming up behind him, and he's standing overlooking the battlefield, and he's on his mala, WhyGuru, WhyGuru, WhyGuru. And Akali Fauj, you know what they say to Maharaja Ranjit Singh? First of all, Kana means someone that doesn't have one eye. Maharaja Ranjit Singh didn't have one eye. They go, oh Kaneya, jang de vich shastra bolda, mala nahi, mala rakh ke aa sade naal. First of all, look at how great of a king. He doesn't care that his Akali Fauj speaks to him like that. And the second, look at the Akali Fauj. They said, there's a time and place for everything. Now's not the time for Naam Simmer. Now's the time for Jang. Pull your karpan out. And he laughs and he goes, you're right. Pulls his karpan out, lets out a jakara and rides in. Baba Baj Singh in that same way would walk in and terrify the Mughals. After a while, when he was finally arrested, when he was finally contained, they put him into shackles. But because they were so scared of him, they shackled his wrists, they shackled his legs, and they tied chains to both. Then, the king of that area, he was standing on a balcony, and he was looking down at Baj Singh, and he goes, oh, are you the Baj Singh everyone talks about? So brave, look at you now. Baba Baj Singh stays quiet. They go, Tusi ta kende si ki Guru da Baj dadiyan marda. You were saying that Guru's Baj can fly, now look at you. Then Baba Baj Singh Ji looked up and stared at him and said, "It's easy to talk from a balcony. Why don't you just unlock my feet and I'll tell you what I can do?" And the king starts laughing, because what can you do with just unlocking the feet? Right? So they go unlock his feet. As soon as the shackle hits the ground, Baba Baj Singh Ji knees the Mughal soldier in front of him. As his toddi lifts back, with 2 hands, he grabs the kirpan, pulls it out, takes his head off, turns around, and slays 5 more Mughals. And he turns around, he lets out a jagara and goes, "Aa raya Baj Singh, aa raya Guru da Baj, iddan daadiyan maardiyan si." This is how we take flight. You think you can cage us? Oh my God, the king got scared and ran into his room. He got behind 2 closed doors and said, "Tell me when you've arrested Baj Singh." Baba Baj Singh Ji gave Shahidi, but just the idea of a Gursikh taking flight had these guys hiding in rooms. And now, some of these guys have the guts to say, "Don't you remember what we did to Arjun?" Referring to Guru Arjan Dev Ji. I saw that the other day, a Musliman saying that. They would never say that in front of a Akali Fauj. They would never say that in front of a Gursikh. And I'm not trying to tell you, like, be like Baba Baj Singh. I'm telling you the extremity of Bir Ras. What it looks like when you have completely defeated the illusion on the complete fearless side, where you're laughing at death. There's this really beautiful and funny video of Charasi de Shaheed 2 days before they give Shahidi. And they're at a wedding, and they have their AK-47s, they're eating langar, and one of them starts singing. I don't know if you guys have heard Kuldeep Manak's Ma Hundi Hai Ma. He starts singing, "Ka hundi hai, ga duniya waleo," and he starts going, instead of saying "duniya waleo," he goes "bakriyan waleo." They start remixing Punjabi folk songs and laughing about how funny it is. And 2 days later, they went and gave Shahidi. Nowadays, we're like, Gornani, Hasranani, Kedranani, right? And I'm not saying go and sing, but I'm saying stop being so cuttered, man. Like, these guys are just joking around. Like, let people joke. Let them be. Why are they joking? Why is it okay to joke? I know, I understand. Gursikho, don't get mad at me. I know. Jado jada hasida khedi da avastha totti aandi hai. You lose your sahaj avastha. I know that. But you come into sahaj avastha not with an iron mind, but a loving mind. You'll start seeing Akal Purkh in all those things. You'll start to find your sahaj. Honestly, I can't be in a reception anymore. It breaks my down now. Before I used to be like, yeah, what's the big deal? God is everywhere. But I would never put that on you. And no one ever put it on me. It's just myself, like, I just feel weird. It comes in its own progression. Because your mind wants to be shant more often. Right? It's all about the mind. How do you reign in the mind? With love. What kind of love? Guru Nanak Dev Ji and Bhai Mardana Ji were out one day. Bhai Mardana Ji goes on strike. He says, I don't want to go with you anymore. He goes on strike. Guru Nanak Dev Ji goes, Bhai Mardana Ji, idda na karo. What's wrong? Right? Bhai Mardana Ji, I always see us in Bhai Mardana Ji. All of us. Right? When we don't want to wake up for Nitnem or we don't want to do whatever. Bhai Mardana Ji na, strike te jande hai. They say, Guru Sahib, I can't take it anymore, I'm going home. Guru Sahib grabs Bhai Mardana Ji's arm. Kende Mardana Ji, na jao, rehlo sade naal. Stay with us, don't leave me. Bhai Mardana Ji kende, nahi Maharaj, benti hai, please let me go now, I can't do it anymore. Kende, okay Bhai Mardana Ji, what would you like? What can I do to get you to stay? Kende, Guru Sahib, sometimes when you start doing kirtan, jadon tuhanu Allahi bani aunਦੀ ਆ, you just start doing naam simran and kirtan. ਘੰਟਿਆਂ ਭਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨੇਤਰਾਂ ਚੋਂ ਹੰਝੂ ਡਿੱਗਦੇ ਆ. From your eyes, tears start to drop. You're so in love, your face starts to radiate. Maharaj, bless me with that love. Please, let me cry when I listen to you. Let me just feel you. Please, Maharaj, let me be in that anand that when your prem is talked about, tears come out. Minu, Maharaj, oh ras baksho jada tanu milda hai. Guru Nanak Dev Parchar smiles. He goes, Vah Mardanya, tain bhali vast mangi. Mardana, you have asked for the most amazing thing. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ I will give it to you. ਜਦੋਂ ਲੋਕੀ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਨਗੇ ਨਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ, when people think about us, they'll say, ਇੱਕ ਬਾਬਾ ਅਕਾਲ ਰੂਪ, ਦੂਜਾ ਰਬਾਬੀ ਮਰਦਾਨਾ. Sorry, I got too into it. They say anytime someone remembers us, they will always see one Baba that was the roop of Akal Purkh, and with him was the Rababi Mardana. They will remember our love story. And he blessed him to be able to fall into that love. That is what we have to beg Guru Granth Sahib Maharaj. That is how you erase that middle circle.